Oh no. When family members are acting in an extremely negative manner, even dangerous towards one, okay, how can that act after years of patience and pain? How can one act, I guess? Look, abuse is abuse. And Islam does not tell you to be patient against abuse. If you're being abused, then you have to take action and do something about it. It doesn't matter if it's from your parents, or from your husband, or from your wife. You have to take action, you have to protect yourself. It's a matter of sometimes protecting children. You have to do whatever it takes to protect the children. Safety comes first. And if there are situations of danger, then don't say there's a religious verdict or you're not a good Muslim if you spoke up about it or you tried to do something about it. There's no such thing. That's entirely bogus. It's entirely bogus. There's no such thing. It's dumb that you might think that some wife is being beat by her husband and she goes to the imam and the imam says, well, it's just ibadah for you. You should just have sabr. No, that is not this religion. I don't know what religion that is, but it's not Islam. It's not Islam. We have no tolerance in our religion for abuse. There is none. The words of the Prophet ﷺ against abusers are very harsh. The Prophet ﷺ wouldn't even tolerate abuse against an animal. Rasulullah cursed the one who, he saw the smack mark on a donkey, and he said, may Allah curse the one who did this. He couldn't stand an animal being slapped on the face. An animal being slapped on the face. It's not something that we take lightly. And that's physical abuse. It's not a joking matter. Seek help. And even if it's a non-Muslim, are you going to go to the kuffar for help? Yes, go to the kuffar for help. The Muslims are helping you. And if they're professionals are helping you, then seek the help. Seek the hotlines. If you can find a Muslim counselor, well and good. But protect yourself, protect your children, and do not allow abuse in a family, and don't let it go quiet. Don't let it go quiet. It is not something we can tolerate at all. This is the kind of thing that destroys a society from within when it's not addressed. If a spouse is abusive, do we make dua to stay with them, or dua to leave them? This is not a matter of dua, it's a matter of action, sister. And I don't know how you define abusive. But if your husband's abusive, you have no reason to be with him. And I'm not telling you to go get divorced, because I don't know what you mean by abuse. He's like, he came home and said, well, how come you didn't make chicken today? It's such abuse. I can't take this anymore. What the mom said, don't bring me into your situation. Seek a counselor, first of all. Seek a counselor, because this one line you said to me does not represent your situation. Your situation's a lot more complicated than this. And it's making, you know why these questions are important? Not so I can just, dodge them. But it makes you realize how many of us need this stuff, man. How many counselors are needed? There's a serious need of deal. We want to serve the ummah, become a counselor. This is really important. And by the way, don't become a counselor if you don't have a tough heart. If you're like the sensitive type, don't become a counselor. You'll be crying more than the guy. You're not helping, bro. Like, I got this. I don't know how you do it. Sorry. Okay, this question is being a serious issue. This question is being asked by someone who was in an abusive marriage and is now a struggling single mother. I know that Allah has blessed me in so many ways, but I can't help but feeling so sad that I thought I did everything right before marriage, and I still ended up like this. How can I battle these thoughts? I haven't prayed in so long. You need to start praying, and you need to start thinking that Allah Azza wa Jalla put you in such a tough marriage, and you survived it. And there are so many people who would not have survived that. And Allah does not put anybody in a test that they can't handle. That marriage that you passed, and that huge mountain that you crossed and scaled is a testimony to your strength. You shouldn't be sad about that. You should be grateful to Allah that He made you stronger. And you can deal with any problem in life now because you've passed through the hard part already. You should be optimistic. The clouds are gone, the sun is shining now. This is what you should be grateful about. And you did everything right. That's not, so why didn't things work out around you? Look, that is not how the world works. You can do everything right and nothing will go your way. There's no formula in Islam or by Allah's design that you do your part and everybody else will do their part. That would be an ideal world. We don't live in an ideal world. The messengers did their part, but they weren't depressed after 10 years or 900 years of preaching and saying nobody's listening. No, they kept on going because Allah said, you just do your part. Don't worry about anybody else. Don't worry about anybody else. The Prophet ﷺ would give his khutbahs, his talks. Nobody's going to give a better lecture than the Prophet. Nobody listened. Can you imagine? Nobody listened. And Allah gives him a lecture then. Allah gives his messenger a lecture. Just you just remind. You're just there to remind. Don't worry about what people do or not. You just do your part. You're not in control over them. I'm not going to ask you about what they did. I'll ask you about what you did. Allah will ask you about how you handle the situation. And wallahi, if Allah has given you that strength, and you've recuperated from it, stop blaming Allah for what happened. Turn to Allah and be grateful that you are out of it, that your children are now in a better situation than they would have been otherwise. And may Allah Azza wa Jalla take that suffering that you had and make it a means of forgiveness for all the sins that you've had in your life, and make that a means of barakah in the lives of your children. But really, use that as an experience to get closer to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And it doesn't matter if you've prayed so long, tonight you'll pray.